Hi there, I'm Sarah, and I want to share a story about my brave daughter Lila. Lila is 10 years old, with bright green eyes and short brown hair. She loves school, but one day something scary happened with her science teacher, Mr. Harper. This is the story of how Lila found the courage to stand up for herself, even though she was really scared. Are you ready to hear about her brave adventure?
I sat at the back of the classroom, tapping my fingers on my desk. I was just 10 years old, with bright eyes that sparkled with curiosity and a heart that beat a little faster whenever I was excited or scared. Mr. Harper, our science teacher, was a tall man with a booming voice and a smile that never quite reached his eyes. I had always felt a little uneasy around him, though I couldn't pinpoint why. One day, he looked at me for too long and said things that made me uncomfortable. As the day went on, I felt more and more afraid. One late afternoon, after the final bell had rung, Mr. Harper asked me to stay behind to help clean up the lab. After everybody left, he shut the door. I felt scared and alone. "Lila, you're such a diligent student," Mr. Harper said, his voice unusually soft. "I need some help with these experiments. It won't take long." Okay, I replied. "You know, Lila, you're very special. I don't often find students as dedicated as you." Thank you," I stammered, stepping back as subtly as I could. "Come over here. I have something interesting to show you," he said, his voice dropping to a near whisper as he pulled me towards him. "Do you remember the lessons from our biology class?" he asked. My heart pounded in my chest, a cold sweat forming on my forehead as he started touching me. I knew this was wrong. Something in me told that. And so I ran away from there, bursting out of the class front door, with tears in my eyes. I did not stop for anyone as I ran towards my home, with tears pouring down my eyes. The house was quiet because my mother were still at work. I straightaway ran to my room, jumped onto my bed, and started crying. That night, I cried and cried until I couldn't cry anymore. I hugged my pillow tightly, thinking about what happened with Mr. Harper in the classroom. I felt very scared and sad, and it made me feel small and alone. The next few days at school, I avoided eye contact with everyone, my once bright eyes now shadowed with fear. At home, I didn't feel any better. I hardly spoke to my mother and only said short answers when she asked me questions. The next day at school, something unexpected happened. During recess, I was sitting alone on a bench when I noticed a commotion near the school entrance. A large, older student was bullying my friend Joey and demanding his lunch money. The other kids stood by, too scared to intervene.
Suddenly, I felt a surge of anger and determination. Without thinking, I stood up and marched towards the bully. My heart pounded, but my steps were steady and sure. "Hey, leave him alone!" I shouted, my voice ringing clear and strong. The bully turned, surprised to see me standing there, my small frame brimming with unexpected defiance. "Mind your own business, Lila," he sneered, but there was uncertainty in his eyes. "It is my business," I replied, stepping between the bully and Joey. "You have no right to treat him like that." For a moment, it looked like the bully might try to fight back, but when he saw how determined I was, he changed his mind. He mumbled something quietly and walked away, leaving me and Joey safe and unharmed. As I walked away, the other kids began to clap, the sound growing louder as more joined in. I felt a warmth spread through my chest, a feeling of pride and strength I hadn't felt in days. That moment, I realized I was braver than I thought I was. If I can stand up for someone else, why can't I stand up for myself? That's when I decided I won't let anyone bully me. Not even Mr. Harper. That evening, after dinner, I sat down with my mom in the living room. My heart was pounding, but I took a deep breath and said, "Mom, I need to tell you something about Mr. Harper." She listened carefully as I told her what happened. When I finished, she hugged me tightly, tears in her eyes. "Oh, Lila, I'm so sorry you went through that," she whispered. "You're so brave for telling me." The next day, me and my mom met with Principal Harris and told him everything I had gone through. The principal listened with a serious look on his face. After I finished, he said, "Lila, you are very brave for telling us this. I promise to take immediate action." The same day, Mr. Harper was removed from the school and an investigation was launched. Other students began to come forward, sharing their own stories. My bravery had inspired them, giving them the courage to speak out. The next day, school was exciting and fun without Mr. Harper there. The atmosphere felt lighter, and everyone seemed to enjoy their classes and activities more than before.